What is up, y'all? LinkedIn, YouTube. What's up? It's Chris. I'm back. We got another BizBuzz live here for you. It's Olympic season right now. The Olympics are taking over social media. They're taking over the television. It's what a lot of people are talking about. There's some people that are boycotting it or not watching it. We're not here to talk about that. There's a lot to learn from the Olympics. I take a ton from the Olympics every year, every 4 years, because I really only like the Summer Olympics. I don't know people that watch the Winter Olympics. I'm sure there's a bunch of people that do. But the Summer Olympics every 4 years, man, I get fired up for it. And there's so much that translate into business and life that I think we need to talk about it. So let's stick around. All right, y'all. Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of BizBuzz Live. I'm your host, Chris Muzan, your financial coach, financial planner. I help people get to the bottom of their financial issues and really make a plan, get themselves out of the place that they're at. Again, as a financial coach and somebody that's had the privilege of lifting up the hood under people's financial life for quite some time now. It always comes back to cash flow, right? Typically, not always, 90% of the time, it's coming back to how much is coming in and how much is going out. Do you have a spending issue? Do we overindulge in things? Are we even aware of where our money is actually going? Do we have small holes in our financial boat? Small leaks here. My wife always says small holes sink great ships, right? Sink big ships. So do you it's never the big things in your financial life from your cash flow standpoint. It's never the mortgage, it's never the rent, it's never any of those things. It's the $10 here, the $42 there, the impulse $93 here, the $17 over there, the 43, right? It's the little things, the small holes in your financial boat. So when it comes to spending our money, when it comes to spending the money, do we know where to spend it? Do we know where it's going? Is it going to the right places? On the other side of it is, how are we bringing the money in? How does it come in? What do we choose to do for our profession? What are we choosing to do to make money? What are we choosing to do? Is it a business? Is it a side hustle? Is it a side business? Is it gig economy? Do I have a good career? Am I close to six figures? Am I getting to the high six figures? Like, how much is coming in and where is it coming from? Inevitably, our financial conversations typically come back to this. Once people have cracked that code, once you've cracked the cash flow code of like, I make a good amount of money and my expenses are really low. Once you've cracked that code for an extended period of time, then your financial life changes. Then you can have more savings and more investments and get out of debt and buy real estate and right make sure you have some tax-free things. And there's so much that happens after we crack the code of the cash flow of what comes in and what goes out. 70+% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. So 7 out of every 10 people, LinkedIn, if they missed 2 paychecks, their family would not be good. They would not be good. Major debt or bankruptcy, foreclosure of homes, repos of cars. If you miss 2 paychecks, that's the majority of Americans, 70+%, 7 out of every 10. Right? So if we're not fixing that part, we have no chance in the rest of the financial plan. We have no chance in the savings, debt, investment side of things if we can't figure out the cash flow side. So that's what BizBuzz Live is for. BizBuzz Live is so we can talk about income, so we can talk about how we're making money, so we can talk about industry, so we can talk about entrepreneurship, so we can talk about what are the ideas we have to generate more income instead of just asking for the 2% pay raise every year, the 3% pay raise every year, instead of having unions back you to make sure that they're fighting for a good wage for you. How are you personally going to go out and bring in more income if that's what you need to increase your cash flow? That's what we're here to talk about. And that's the premise of the show. Now, we just so happen that the Olympics are going on right now. The Summer Olympics are happening. Again, we're going to kind of stay away from the politics of it, or people can always find a way to be upset about something, or find some negativity about something, or find something unjust or wrong, or whatever the case is. But at the end of the day, I just gave this morning mindset called attitude is everything. So how you look at life is 10% what happens to you, 90% how you react to that thing that's happening to you. So some people just look to react negatively to things. We're not. I'm going to take the high road. I'm going to take the positive side of the Olympics and all of the amazing stuff that happens in the Olympics. First and foremost, like, just to be an Olympian, right? As a sports fan, right? So I like sports. I don't consume a lot of sports. I really don't watch long games or things like that, but I like the clips and the highlights, and I love competition. And so the reason why I love the Olympics is because it's the best of the best competing at the highest levels in the world. I might only watch March Madness college basketball. I might only watch the playoffs of baseball, or the playoffs of football, or the finals of the NBA. Like, I might not watch throughout the season, but what I'm definitely going to do is, when competition is at its highest and people are performing at their highest levels, I'm going to watch. That's entertaining. There's some things you can learn from that as well. Same thing in business. I love being around people in business, in work, that perform at the highest levels. They perform at the highest levels. The competition is different. The conversations are different. The preparation is different. Like, everything's different when you're performing at a higher level. And so that's what the Olympics get a chance to show me. It's like, man, these are the people that are the best in all of their categories, in all of their respective sports. And man, it's always fun to watch the different sports. I've been watching rugby, right? I used to actually do crew. So I saw that the US won gold. I think US men's crew won gold. Man, watching the gymnastics, my daughter's in gymnastics. So, like, giving her a chance to see a Simone Biles, or getting a chance to watch them perform and win gold, like, that's a big deal. I used to play water polo in high school. So watching women's polo, watching polo play, like, it's exciting. I used to swim. So watching these events, and the 400 IM and the 200 butterfly, and just watching them perform at the highest levels in sport is just amazing. It's amazing. Like, what's it like to train for 4 years, for 3 years, for 6 years, for however long, to compete against the other best 5 teams, 5 countries in the world at what you do? It's a big deal. And it allows people to excel. I think if we can take some learning lessons from the Olympics and put them into our career, our business life, our vocation. Are you performing like an Olympian at your job? Are you performing like an Olympian in your business? When and where? This is a question for all of you, LinkedIn and YouTube. The question is, when and where are you performing at your best? If you want to build a business, if you want to increase your cash flow, you want to make more money at your job, whatever it is you're trying to do, take these examples from the Olympics and think about it. Like, how am I performing in that way? How am I preparing? How long am I practicing? How much am I in the gym? How much am I thinking about 3 years out and how good I'm going to be in a certain thing? What's my work ethic like? How often do I show up for my business, for my side hustle, for my gig that I do, for my job, like, whatever it is? How often do I, like, show up and do it at a high level? Who am I competing with at my job? Who am I competing with in business? Business is sport. So who are you competing with? I had a really wealthy mentor of mine one time tell me, Chris, like in entrepreneurship, the scoreboard is your bank account, right? The scoreboard is your bank account. So if you haven't scored a lot of points and right, you haven't been working hard, like you're not going to put up a lot of points on the board, your bank account's going to be low. When you can then say, hey, I've been putting in the work, I've been doing this, I've been training, I've been practicing, I've been doing all this stuff, and you look up at the scoreboard and your bank account is in a good place, then you know you're winning the game. Now, it comes with other competition. You have other people that might be competing with you. You have other businesses, you have other corporations, whatever the case is. And sure, you can look at metrics and see where you stack up. But the question is, right, who's pushing you? See, an Olympian, if think of an Olympic swimmer, like they are trying to beat a time. They've been practicing and training, and they've been chipping off seconds, milliseconds off of their time. The faster they get, they've been chipping away because they know that the people that they're going to compete against that are the best in the world are doing the same thing. They're chipping away at a millisecond. They're chipping away, right, at a tenth of a second, at 2/10 of a second to get faster. Knowing that in their mind, it forces the Olympian to practice harder, to work harder, so that when it's game time, when it's the time for medals, it's time for the actual race, they've done all the work because they know other people were doing the work too. Is that how you view your business life? This is for the entrepreneurs out there. I'm not sure, right? I haven't had a job in a while, and I never like to compete with people at the job. In all honesty, one of the reasons I left my last job was because I was working harder than other managers and getting paid less than them, right? Which never made sense to me because of seniority or tenure or whatever it is. It's like, yeah, but I do better work than them, and I work harder and longer hours, so I should make more money. That's not how it works in corporate America. Some of you guys know that. But as an entrepreneur, you get to control all those things. So as an entrepreneur, the question is, who's pushing you? Who's challenging you? Is the marker that you are trying to shave off 2/10 of a second? What are you chasing? How are you getting more efficient? How are you growing more? This is how you have the Olympic mindset. 'Cause I believe it's a mindset. In order to get to the Olympics, I think you have to have a mindset around being great. I don't think people, maybe I hope somebody that's watching is an Olympian or knows someone that has been in the Olympics or gone to the Olympics or something like that. Maybe drop a comment in there. But I really, really, really highly doubt that people just accidentally become an Olympian, accidentally become a gold medalist, accidentally win a silver medal to say, I'm the best in the world at my position. I doubt that people just luck up and get there. So how does that translate into your business life? Are you striving to be great? Are you striving to be great in your business? Are you looking one day for someone to say he's the best in the world, she's the best in the world at what they do? I wouldn't go to anybody else except for them for that thing that they do in business. Is that what you're striving for? Is that what's pushing you like you're an Olympian? Do you know that there's another business in another state that does the exact same thing as you, and they are trying harder than you? They're preparing more than you. They have less distractions than you. And because of that, they'll take that market share from you. They'll be the people that people hear about and not necessarily you, all because they're working just a little bit harder because they are a little bit more focused on being great. I think this is something that, again, we can learn from Olympians. It's not often in our entrepreneurial journey that we're constantly confronted with keeping up, keeping pace, outpacing your competitor, becoming more efficient, shaving time off of your time, so to speak. That's what it means to be more efficient. I don't know that we're always thinking about that. I think we're just trying to get through the day and bring in a little money and make sure this business is up and running. Like maybe we're not thinking about it like an Olympian would think about it. And again, maybe you don't strive to be an Olympian. I feel like if you played a sport that the Olympics have, by the way, there's some sports that I never even knew they had. I saw some air shooting. Y'all see that meme of the dude with his hand in his pocket that's just doing the air shoot. I think he won gold, right? Just with his hand in his pocket. He's from Turkey. Hand in his pocket, some airsoft gun or some air shooting. I didn't even know that was an Olympic thing. I didn't know that was an Olympic event, but it is. And this guy from Turkey is like the best in the world, right? Regardless of the sport, regardless of the thing, like he's training to be better. He's training to beat the competition, to be the best in the world. We don't always do that as an entrepreneur. We don't always do that when we're starting a business. We just started like, I hope I make a little bit of money, or I hope this little thing happens. Yeah, sure. Don't you want to be great? Don't you want to be an Olympian? If that's the end, if business is a sport and you could be at the business Olympics, don't you want to represent your country? Don't you want to represent your neighborhood or your state or whatever? Don't you want to represent them to be like, no, we're the best. We're the best at marketing. We're the best at sales. We're the best at what we do on this side. Our business is in order. We're making money, right? We're helping the community, whatever it is. Like, don't you want that? And if not, as an entrepreneur, specifically talking to the entrepreneurs, right? If not, then what are you working towards? I think my mom told me this story one time that, like, I used to be a swimmer. I told you that's why I like the Summer Olympics, because I used to play a lot of these. I played badminton for a couple summers, right? I did crew for a couple summers. I swam, I played polo, right? A lot of the stuff on there. One of the things that my mom told me a long time ago was that the reason I chose to stop competitively swimming, because I was good, I could have been better. I stopped at, like, I don't know, 10, 11 years old or something like that. I said, like, the reason why I'm going to stop is because I don't want to go to the Olympics. I was 10, 11 years old when I told my mom this. The reason I'm stopping this sport is because I don't want to go to the Olympics. It's like, I have no desire to go to the Olympics. Now, I'm a 10-year-old, 11-year-old kid. I don't know what that means and the gravity of going to the Olympics anyway, right? Maybe if I would have kept competitively swimming, I would have looked forward to it. It would have been the goal. I would have wanted to be Michael Phelps, or right, get all the gold medals that I can and get as good as possible. Like, maybe that was the trajectory that I would have taken. But I just knew that if I was in a sport and I had no desire to do it at the highest level and be great at it, then I probably shouldn't be doing it now. Like, it's just, I don't know. I guess I just had that wisdom early. And then I went from swimming to bowling, right? And then I stopped bowling, and then I picked up all these school sports. But regardless, the mindset around, if I'm doing this, I might as well be the best at it. If I'm going to build a business, it might as well be the biggest, best business that I could build. If I'm going to have a relationship, it should be the best relationship I can have. If I'm going to work at a job, I'm going to be the best possible employee that they have. I'm going to climb the ranks faster than everyone else. Like, at some point, you've got to start to be competitive with where you're headed, with the competition. These are things you can learn from the Olympics. Just sit and watch the games, man. These are competitors. They've been training their whole life for this type of stuff. Some of them, right, when you get into track and field, some of them, they're doing this for 10 seconds. They're training their whole life, right? They're training for years and years and years for a sprint, for a 10-second sprint, for a 13-second sprint. That's what they were training for their whole life. We, on the other hand, we have businesses, we have opportunities to grow, we have jobs, we have careers, we got side hustles, we got all types of ways to grow our income and compete and look at the scoreboard, so to speak, right? Our bank account, is it growing? Is our savings growing? Are we investing money in the right places? Is our discretionary income growing? Are we making more money and spending less money? Is our business operating efficiently? And who are we competing with? Who's pushing us? Who's that, in swimming on the Olympics, when they have that world record or Olympic record line that's saying, like, you're keeping pace. And so they'll show, right, in swimming, they'll show the world record line or the Olympic record line and saying, hey, they're like 1 second off of pace for hitting the world record or the Olympic record. What's that for you in your business? What's that for you at your job? What's that for you in the thing that brings you income? Do you have something that keeps pace? Maybe at your job, it's just, I don't know. Is your salary competitive? Is your salary keeping up? I guess that's something you have control over. Maybe you can figure out at your job, right? If you're outworking people and if there's positions or things you can open up, doors you can open up, creating your own position. I don't know. But in entrepreneurship, if you have a small business, if you have a side business, if there's something you're doing, you got to keep pace. You got to have that world record, Olympic record line in front of you and knowing that you're keeping pace, if not creating the record yourself, blowing past that thing. But you got to have a marker. You got to have something that you're going after. You got to have something that keeps you competitive, that keeps you fired up, that keeps your spirit going. Again, it seems like this message is a lot geared towards the entrepreneurs or people that are starting businesses or people that have a job and run a business. The business side's got to keep you fired up. You got to have that competitive nature. You got to push yourself out of the comfort zone to shave your time, to get more efficient, to look over and be like, man, where's that world record pace? Where's that Olympic record pace? And am I approaching it? Are there things I need to do to change quickly so I can make improvements? These are all the things I take from just watching the Olympics, man. I heard pastors always say everything preaches, right? Like anything preaches. It's true. The Olympics will preach, right? The Olympics, there's a lot of stuff happening in there. There's emotions, there's teamwork, there's work ethic, there's competition, there's strategy, there's health conversations. I don't know if there's a financial conversation in there. I don't think Olympians get paid a ton. They do it for the love. I know the United States didn't pay their athletes anything for winning gold medals. They pay them like 30 grand. But again, that's not bad if you really think about it. Getting paid 20 or 30 grand to go to another country to put your talent on display. And if you win, they like hit you with a bonus for your time. You were in Paris for 3 weeks and you come back with a gold medal and 30 grand. Like it's not horrible, right? It's not a horrible deal. Maybe I guess people wanted more, but I don't know. But either way, what can we take from these Olympics? I really love the Olympics. I think it's just the sheer competition at the highest levels is what we got to pay attention to and what we can apply in our own life, in our own business life. How much are you an Olympian at your job? How much are you an Olympian in your business? Work ethic, preparation, coaching. Let's talk about that. How many of y'all have a coach? Olympians have coaches. Why? Because they know they need people there to push them, to catch the blind spots, to see what they don't see, to help them improve. All these people have coaches. And all these people have a form of mental toughness, emotional intelligence. I was watching some of the gymnasts and just watching them breathe before doing their exercise or their routine or whatever. Just watching them take deep breaths. You know how important that is when you're stressed or when you got stuff happening? Just pause and take some deep breaths. Realign, recenter, connect with yourself. Like that is a practice. Saw the Olympians do it. How are we doing that in our own life, y'all? That's the question. Becoming more of an Olympian is going to help you improve your cash flow. That's the bottom line. Becoming more Olympic minded, proper preparation, pushing yourself, chasing that world record, wanting to become great, having a coach, getting some emotional intelligence, wanting to compete at the highest levels of what you do. If we take that mindset and we apply it to our cash flow, we apply it to how we're making income, we apply it to how we're choosing to support ourselves and our families. If we're thinking the same ways, we'll get similar outcomes. You'll become an Olympian at your job, an Olympian in your business, winning the gold medal for your business, beating out the competition. Whatever the goal is, you will do that if you start training, thinking, practicing, acting like an Olympian. Environments are what make people. Environments create people. Environments make you. How do you create that Olympic environment in your business? How do you create that Olympic environment in your life? How do you measure the scoreboard? How do you stay on your toes? How do you have people that push you, that are better than you, that are also going after greatness? That's why being in an environment with people that are all headed towards greatness is important. If you're in a group of 10 people and you're the only person that wants to be great, everyone else is okay being mediocre, or okay settling in for something, or okay just having the job and not winning a gold medal. They're okay to watch the Olympics but not perform like one. If you are the one out of the 10 that think the opposite, you got to get out of that group. All right. That group, that environment, that mental environment is not going to allow you to be an Olympian. That's why I'm sure these Olympians isolate themselves from the general public, or they hang around with all Olympians, all people that train like them, all people that push themselves hard, because the environment is what creates you. So in your business life, in your work life, in the environments you're in, what are you becoming? In the environments you're in at your job, who are you becoming? In the environments you're in your business, who are you becoming? Are you becoming more of an Olympian? You're becoming more of a spectator. You're becoming more of the person that is pushing to be great. Or are you okay settling in and being mediocre and just kind of taking life as it comes? No judgment either way, y'all. No judgment either way. Whatever floats your boat. I'm not here to convince you one way or the other. But I also know that the more that you progress in life, the more that you go after greatness, the more fulfilled you'll be over time, the more happy you'll be over time. And guess what? Money is run by our emotions. Our emotions dictate our habits. Our emotions dictate our habits in everything we do, especially with your money. So if you're not fulfilled and happy, you probably aren't making the best decisions with your money. That's how it works. So if we can get you to be more like an Olympian at your job, be more like an Olympian at your business, become great at something, become more happy and fulfilled, you'll do better with your money. That's where it all ties in, y'all. But you got to go out and perform like an Olympian. So that's the message for today. I'm glad you guys jumped on and got a chance to hear this. I really want to talk about the Olympics a bunch more. I'll probably do some TikToks or something like that, some little short form content around it, because there's just so much happening. There's so much happening. And again, I don't have to get into the politics of it. I don't have to get into any of the injustices around it. Just the sheer sport of watching people compete at the highest level. Man, it's exciting because we get a chance to do it in our own life. I don't know what areas you're competing in, but you can compete. If you're competing in business, scoreboard is your marker. Where you at in your scoreboard? Where you at in your bank account? That's what you got to figure out, y'all. Every Friday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern, we're doing BizBuzz Live. We're talking about cash flow, industry, what we need to do to grow, what we need to do to build business. This was kind of more mindset. Thinking like an Olympian will allow you to be more Olympic-like in your business, be more like an Olympian, be more like a gold medalist in your business or at your job or in whatever you choose to do for work. It'll help. So start thinking like an Olympian, y'all. Let's come back next Friday and do it all again. If there are any comments, any questions, any topics you want to talk about, drop them in the comments down here on LinkedIn, drop them in the comments here on YouTube. More than happy to talk about anything when it comes to industry, entrepreneurship, business, how to grow your cash flow. If we just need basic financial kind of conversations, I'm more than happy to have those as well. But like I said, this show, BizBuzz Live, is really for us to be able to focus on how we're generating income and how we're keeping more of what's coming in. All right. So until next Friday, y'all.